Okay, great. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for being there. A nice crowd. Hopefully, we'll have a useful time together. I'm here to address a fairly specific topic. Are we sometimes pushed to move so fast and with such speed requirements that we become too fast for our Scrum? So that's basically what I will address. Let me first level your expectations. I'm not here to attack Scrum, so you can keep your rotten tomatoes in the bag. Don't throw them to me yet. I'm a big fan of Agile and Scrum, so I just want to share some experiences with you regarding what we are doing in this domain. Okay, so a brief note about me. I'm currently CTO at Jumia. Jumia is an e-commerce company that belongs to Africa Internet Group. The IT team of Jumia is based at Porto Tech Center, along with 3 other companies that belong to the same group. Africa Internet Group is a group that is based in Paris and operates in several countries. And one of its key investors is Rocket Internet, the other is MTN and Millicom. So you probably heard something about Rocket Internet. Basically, this group is present in more than 100 countries. I think it has almost 100 companies. And as you may imagine, this means a lot of different cultures, different challenges. And basically this ecosystem of companies means a lot of challenges that are shared among the group and provides great experiences for all. So my main goal today is share a bit of our experience and our need to move fast while being agile at the same time, because the two things are not necessarily the same. And again, the challenges that we found along the way. The main mission of Rocket Internet, as you may have heard, is basically deliver fast, deliver with quality, and be totally pragmatic, meaning that the requirements on speed are quite evident and quite constant. So the first thing that I would like to address is what do we need, in fact, to go fast but in a sustainable way, meaning that we can move fast sometimes during a spike and then slow down, but what are the key ingredients from our side that we need to move fast constantly and in a sustainable way? We have been finding that the most critical requirement is in fact communication. The faster you want to move, the better you need to communicate, and this is an effective requirement. We feel this every day, and when I talk about communication, I'm not talking only about communicating with customer and external stakeholders, but also inside and across the teams themselves. So it's absolutely critical for all agile teams. Another critical topic on our side, and I think on everyone's side, is to have clear goals defined. So meaning that every team member must clearly understand what his goals are, to have a sense of roadmap to achieve, to have challenges properly defined so that at the end you manage to turn into a reality the most key important thing on a team, which is the sense of achievement. So in order to achieve something and have proud on it and feel happy about it, I must understand first what is my goal. You can have a wonderful team with people moving very, very fast, but if they go fast in opposite directions at the end, you won't move forward as you wish. So clear goals is also one key thing on our side. And obviously, you need to manage the overload. So moving fast sometimes pushes companies to overload the teams. And overload is damaging. It's very, very, very hard. In fact, you can tell that to the donkey on the right or to the truck on the left, because you cannot sustainably, or in a sustainable way, go fast by overloading your team day after day or sprint after sprint. So this is a common challenge, and it's not a Jumia challenge, it's a challenge for all companies, even outside of the Rocket world. Another key thing is to do more effective work and less firefighting. Okay? I'm not sure if there are any real firefighters in the room. Anyone over there? We have one? Oh. So if the place starts on fire, we have someone to take care of it. But if I ask you if you did any firefighting during the last week, I assume that most of you will raise your hand. So we do some firefighting along the weeks and the months. The thing is, I see companies putting so much pressure on their teams that they try to do fast, they try to develop fast, they test quickly to deliver soon, and at the end, they spend most of the remaining time firefighting and cleaning up in the mess that they created because they moved too fast earlier. And in fact, I know a company that lost huge business value just because of this. So they deployed a product, they tried to move too fast because of competitors, and at the end they spent like, I think it was 1.5 years just trying to solve the issues that they created before. And because of that, their product management was completely ruined and the company went fairly down. So this is in reality a big problem. Next, obviously, if you want to go fast, you need to drive fast. In order to drive fast, you need to, well, not only be good looking, but also to have a powerful engine. So you must have a powerful team, you must have a powerful structure, but we should never forget that a powerful engine has several, in fact, hundreds of small components that work together. So you can have one brilliant engine with 1,000 horsepower, and then you have a lousy piece in there that will break you and will make the engine not start at all. So we must take into account that the engine needs proper treatment. So we need to cherish the engine, take care of it, and not only look at the engine when something is broken, which is in fact what women do with cars in reality. But we must do some preventive and corrective work, not only corrective, to make sure that the car runs smoothly and the engine won't break at all. No offense on the woman thing, so please don't look at me with those angry faces, ladies. Obviously, a powerful team with defined goals, with a smooth communication process, needs also to feel happy, to feel motivated. So you must cherish them, you must be close to them, you must feel them like your brothers, your sons, your fathers, whatever. So in most companies we feel top management is way too far from the teams themselves, okay? And that's, as it was discussed before, most of the times those guys don't even know what the product is all about or what is the strategy of the company. So they have, in fact, a huge distance between the company goals and their daily life. So to cherish the team and to take a deep care of team motivation is, in fact, critical. But again, if you have a great team that feels happy, has fun every day, and knows exactly their goals, with all that, can you really go fast without any issue? So is it guaranteed that with all that you can move as fast as you effectively need? And in fact, can you go so fast that Scrum becomes an issue? Just making a quick survey here. Who thinks that Scrum may be an obstacle when you try to move too fast? Raise your hand, please. Okay, 3 is not much. Okay, meaning that some of you guys, or most of you guys, if you are doing in fact Scrum, you are comfortable with it, and you think it allows you to go as fast as needed. Okay, but in fact there are not only 3 people with that sense of Scrum being an issue, but we have hundreds of people in hundreds of companies thinking that agile ceremonies, the sprints, all that is blocking velocity sometimes, okay? And in fact, we'll address this a little bit later. So, what are the typical too fast symptoms, okay, that most people complain about? First thing is a classic. So, you are supposed to have a stable sprint backlog during the sprint, so that's one of the key concepts of Scrum. And in a big number of companies, this is a constant struggle. So there is always someone, or typically the PO or the CEO or anyone that tries to change the sprint backlog during the sprint. And this is a huge challenge for everybody. So you must fight it with both hands and both legs, everything, to on a daily basis make sure that the team is allowed to have some stability during the sprint. So this is a challenge, in fact. Priorities changing daily, sometimes hourly. Well, this is quite frequent in most companies. I would say it's a constant thing in the rocket internet world, and we must deal with it to make sure that we can absorb those changes and those priority reorganizations or reindexings so that we can react on time. Also, some companies that implement this Scrum complain that this sprint planning thing with a team wasting, and I don't agree with the wasting term, so it's between commas, wasting a full morning or a full day planning. Shouldn't we just do whatever is needed because the priorities are already defined? So this is a key challenge for most companies, in fact. Another thing is, it looks like we are being productive but not too effective. Being productive is very different from being effective. So I'm productive when I do lots of things at the same time and I deliver lots of things. I'm effective when I do things that deliver value. And the things that I do deliver the most value. So the goal is to be effective, not productive. And sometimes, without proper management, by doing Scrum, you push devs to start too many stories. They are doing lots of stuff at the same time. They are swapping a lot of time. And they are, in fact, wasting precious time and focus, and sometimes even quality. So, another classical issue, if you guys attended previous events on Agile or Lean Coffees, it's always discussed. How can we use Scrum with maintenance? Maintenance means that any day, at any hour, an issue may pop up on a specific country or on a customer, and then you must address it. So how can you even think about having a stable sprint and do maintenance at the same time? And this is a challenge, in fact. Multitasking, so we all know that our brain is not good at multitasking. Some people think they are good at multitasking, but it's wrong, it's false. They should be, trained to understand that it's not real, in fact. Our brain does not multitask well. We don't have those many cores to process stuff at the same time. And it is, in fact, a waste. And also, some companies feel like the last sentence. So, I assume you all know the cone of uncertainty, meaning that uncertainty is higher when the software is being, for example, defined, and it gets gradually lower when you start to work more on it, learn more about it, and do a couple of sprints on top of it so that at the end it is delivered. So in some companies, the cone of uncertainty doesn't look like a cone, it looks like a rectangle. So uncertainty is constant because things are changing all the time. So this is a possible issue again. So basically, too fast systems sometimes make some companies feel that Scrum, in fact, is hurting their performance, is hurting their velocity. And sometimes they start to evolve from Scrum to Scrum But, and Scrum But is the most used version of Scrum, meaning that I use Scrum But I don't do this, I don't do that. And at the end, they create something that ultimately has little to do with real Scrum. So, on top of these issues and challenges, there are also a couple of misconceptions, like Scrum by itself makes your teams faster. Okay, some people or some companies take this too seriously. I know from a fact that the company moved from Waterfall to Scrum and management tried to release developers because they will be faster, and as such, they could release people. And it's obviously wrong, and it does not work that way. So, at the end, Scrum may turn your teams slower at the end, okay? I'm not sure why the projector does not show gray stuff, so there is a phrase in the middle, but it's basically the same as the previous one, no issues. Another one is the need to move hyper fast, makes your backlog so alive, it looks like a living thing, it changes all the time, so it cannot be stable for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even 1 week, okay? And this is a challenge. And some people consider it's impossible to have sprints at all. Obviously, I don't think it's impossible, it's challenging, it's very, very challenging, but it should be a challenge that we would embrace all the time. Because to have a team with some stability on their mind and 2 weeks to at least focus on the top priorities is highly valuable for them. So this is a struggle, a constant struggle in all companies, in ours too, but we should provide some stability for the team. Also, another misunderstanding is that Scrum and Kanban are recipes for success. It's false. There are no recipes at all. So you may move from waterfall to Scrum or Kanban and at the end become worse than you were before. So delivering less and with less quality. It's also a misconception that you definitely should avoid. So there is no such thing as a recipe for success in this world. Another thing is the agile methodology is great. You see some people writing this on the net and stating this as a law, but in fact Scrum is not a methodology and neither there is such thing as an agile methodology. Scrum is basically a framework, and as a set of tools you should use them and use them in a way that fits you as a company and as a team working to achieve something. So don't look at Scrum as a methodology. And finally, some people say that Scrum is assuming that you are good at estimating. It's false. We are lousy estimators, and basically Scrum admits that as a principle. So you should not admit that you or your team are good estimators. You are not. Finally, sprints are incompatible with maintenance work. It's a classical issue. We cannot have sprints because we do stuff that pops up every day. Again, it is the most tricky thing you will have to deal with when you start adopting Scrum, but there are ways to balance that, okay? And you should definitely try to find an approach that will balance maintenance work with normal sprint work, with allowing your team to be able to accomplish their sprint backlog at the same time to have buffers that would accomplish maintenance work. So let me just quickly share some experiences regarding what we are doing in this concern. Some of the slide is not visible, but anyway, Jumia is currently present in 16 different countries, meaning different cultures, different needs, different teams, okay? Although the IT team is at Oporto. IT team is currently 91 people. Jumia as a whole has 2,500 people. I think it's more right now. It changes daily. But basically, not only Jumia, but also in the Porto Tech Center. Currently in Porto Tech Center, we are close to 290 people. And we have more companies there. So 4 companies in Porto Tech Center. And basically what I want to share with you is how we are approaching at PTC level, Scrum or Agile. So we have 4 companies that all belong to the same group, okay? They are focused on different things. So Jumia is an e-commerce company, Kaimu is a marketplace, Jovago is a booking website, so OMS is a warehouse management system, and we have AIG Express, which is a delivery company. And as you can see, each of these companies, although they are on the same building, they belong to the same company, each of them has a different approach to Agile. So in Jumia we have 9 teams, we are using Scrum, we have 2 weeks on each sprint, and we have maintenance distributed across teams, okay? Kaimu, for example, is doing Kanban now. They will evolve to a scenario on which each team decides what is best for them. So they will do Scrum or Kanban depending on their effective needs. Jovago is using Scrum with also 2-week sprints. OMS is using Scrum and Kanban. AIG Express is basically letting each team to decide what they want to do. And basically the message is, let each team or each group or each company decide what is best for them. Again, there is no recipe, and in the company we are not imposing the same approach for all companies. Okay? So basically, just sharing a final note on the evolution of Agile at Jumia as an example. This took place like in 2 years, 2 years and a half. Okay, so initially Jumia needed to be built. So there was a crazy period of radical code fix with some waterfall in the middle, but basically the goal was to deploy fast, develop fast, and make things happen. Then Jumia evolved to Scrum, and it was great. So teams had a greater feeling of involvement. They were committed to the project. They had a more stable environment. But the environment was so stable that Jumia mixed Kanban with Scrum to make sure that some teams could react faster to changes. So faster reacting teams were using Kanban, while feature development teams and epic development teams were using Scrum. Again, The need for constant change was so high that Jumia turned into Kanban, okay? And that's basically when I joined in the company. And basically, although the company was moving very, very fast, when I joined in, I felt I was in a factory. So people were too far away from the product. The distance between them and the customer was huge because they were only concerned in tackling the topmost priority items. Okay, and this is not good. So basically what we did was to turn it to Scrumban, meaning mixing Scrum with Kanban, and try to mitigate that strange factory feeling. And right now, we are on Scrum, again with 2 weeks sprints. So basically, this doesn't mean the company is confused, okay? Not at all. But the key thing is here, also inspect and adapt. Don't feel afraid of changing. You may work perfectly well with Kanban, you may work better with Scrum, or you may even work with Waterfall. So there is no recipe, just adapt, just inspect, and evolve permanently. So final message here, focus your teams on effectiveness and not on productive. The teams should be delivering value, not doing too much stuff at the same time and delivering too many things. And again, this is no recipe at all. You should be prepared because basically our challenge is different than yours, although there are things that are common at the end. Development Zen is reachable. Okay, we are not at our Zen yet, and we are always moving into that direction, but it's possible, and you can and should learn from other companies and other teams and share experiences. This is why I'm challenging our knowledge here. Knowledge sharing is the most valuable thing, not only in these events, but across companies. So take part of that process as well and join the community on that. And never forget that this is a never-ending journey. So it doesn't take 4 sprints, neither 2 months. It's a constant thing, a constant investment, then it's constant realignment based on the changes around you, okay? And that's basically it. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio. Guys, I'm sorry, but 1 question only, okay? Because Antonio was a bit pushy.
Yeah.
I really like your talk. It was probably one of the very best I ever saw here. Here, not only this year, of course, because it's only first time, but across the years. The thing I would like to ask you though is, you didn't talk about measurement of the team. You changed to Scrumban, you said at some point. How did you track the team productivity or effectiveness, or how did you do it?
In fact, the change from Scrum to Scrumban, you had a couple of teams doing Scrum, pure Scrum, and you have a couple of teams doing Scrumban. And the typical move, and we did that when you move into Scrumban, is first adapt the process so that you can avoid swapping time and apply WIP limits on each stage, so to make sure that teams will focus on pulling what is more urgent and not on doing too much stuff at the same time. And also, when moving into pure Kanban, you change the approach of the metrics that you typically use on Scrum to count the cycle time of tickets. So the metric is not anymore your team velocity. With pure Kanban, your metric will be the cycle count. The time a ticket that flows in will need to go out on the right. And that's obviously something that will require some mental gymnastics so that you make sure that the tickets are comparable in size. Otherwise, the cycle count will have some outliers at the end. Yeah.
Same as Kanban.
Yeah, basically. With Scrumban, you can still use, and we did that on a couple of teams, you can still use the classical Scrum metrics, although you are basically focused the team on the top priority things, so you don't use typical sprints, but you have a board in the same way, and you have the priorities defined, and you have WIP limits on each stage. But you still do the ceremonies, the retrospectives, daily stand-ups, the plannings, and even occasional groomings or refinements, but not with the same frequency as with pure Scrum. When you move into Kanban, all changes, yeah. But in fact, we just gave up on Kanban because we felt that it was creating a bad spirit among the team, and team was getting far away from the product. And we did not only that, but we also hired like 3 times more POs, and we have a PO on each team, and we make sure that the team and the PO and the technical coaches and everybody is a single unit, and they are all owners of their portion of the backlog. So they are not external service providers.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.